Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Genshin Impact pissing off Twitter again. What is it with this game? This is an anime-style RPG, gacha type game. It's actually developed by a Chinese company, but it's pretty popular, and anything popular, of course, invites Twitter's hot takes. Mm-hmm. So now the problem with Genshin Impact is one of the characters comes from a family that owned slaves.
What? Okay. So?
Well, that's problematic. We have to cancel it.
Okay, so it's a made-up race,
yes.
A made-up world.
Yes.
And that's bad.
Yes, because any mention of slavery at all, even in a fictional world, is problematic, and I gotta wonder how long until they cancel Star Wars?
Well, if only they got that upset about actual slavery that's going on now with human trafficking, maybe there'd be more stuff done about it.
Maybe, but that's hard.
Yeah, that requires effort. You can't just sit on Twitter and scream.
So we're going to talk about that. Before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 185,000 subs. Thank you for the support. Genshin Impact, very popular game. Not one I've played, though. I'm familiar with it. But just a couple of weeks ago, there was some controversy about this game because there were some monsters that could be mistaken for brown-skinned natives.
Were they? I didn't see them.
Well, they really weren't, but...
they went Dungeons and Dragons on it.
Yes, okay. They went... That's what we're going to call it. They went Dungeons and Dragons on this game. Twitter was calling for it to be canceled again because of these brown-skinned monsters that they said were supposed to be stand-ins for Islanders, brown skin.
Meanwhile, Twitter can say whatever they want about white people and whatever kind of talk smack and shit about that, and that's okay. But there's a character who's not, a person of color in a game, and they demand it be shut down because how that's very insulting.
Right. So now the latest controversy with this game, and they're not gonna rest until they get this game. And look. It's about the platform. Incredibly popular game means you're going to get hot takes, means Twitter's going to latch onto something that's popular, find problems with it for Twitter clout.
Okay, well, you know what's next. If after they get past this one, it's because she's dressed too even though she's mostly covered, it's too sexy, and why are they not, and there's no fat characters.
Oh, we had that before.
Oh, they already did that.
Yeah,
one?
We already went
okay.
there. We already,
okay.
There weren't enough fat people, there weren't enough brown people. The one character looked like she might be underage, and that's a problem. Yeah, we've already done that.
Okay, they already did that one. Okay.
So now we're going to find this character, I think it's Eula, who her family apparently owned slaves, or she came from a family that owned slaves, and because of that, it's problematic. Now, because of where we're at, 2021, even terms like master bedroom are being banned from some real estate list. I am dead serious. In Toronto, the greater Toronto area, home hunters browsing through property will notice a change in place of the word master. They're going to see primary bedroom. We also know...
They do know that meant like master of the house, right?
No.
And it wasn't anything to do with slavery.
No, because they're dumb. They don't know that because they're stupid. In tech, I talked about this last year, that they were going to get rid of the terms master and slave because a lot of times you'll have like a master drive and then a slave drive, and now that's problematic. We have to, master servers, slave servers. You can't.
Okay, so my deep probing question is going to be: are they going to change the word masturbation to primary masturbation? Primary masturbation.
You're priming your pump.
I'm just saying because how dare they? It has the word master in it, and that just that's obviously keeping people down sexually, so we can't do that.
Shield Hero, one of the
my God, that was the stupidest thing.
Many complaints about Rising of the Shield Hero beyond the.
They were more mad about the rape thing.
Yeah, but
she accused him of doing it when he didn't.
Well, they also brought up that he was buying slaves.
Mm-hmm. And he was training them to work with him, and basically he was treating them like equals. They were not really his slaves.
Yep, and now they're coming for Star Wars too. I kind of wondered when we would start having this conversation, but they're already starting to have issues with Star Wars because, we've got Anakin Skywalker, who was a slave, and they talk about slavery in the prequels.
Again, for people so upset about slavery, which they should because it's a shitty thing, there is currently an issue with human trafficking for slavery going on, but you never hear about it. They always want to go on about a movie or TV show in a made-up world. Meanwhile, people are still currently being sold into slavery, and nobody's doing anything about it. I don't see them on Twitter having giant hissy fits about that.
Because that's harder than complaining about cartoon characters.
Also, I want to take a moment to point out to these people that, because they're always like, well, because slavery is wrong, which yes, of course, slavery is wrong when it's been, but it hasn't ended. That a lot of people who get mad about white people and how, because you're white, you wouldn't understand. If you would look genetically and historically, you'll probably find some people that you consider white are descended from slaves. You will probably also find that some of the people that you would consider dark-skinned or black probably were descended from slave owners. In some cases. So, you can't even look at somebody and say, well, you obviously kept slaves, or you were one, because that's a load of shit. A lot of people have come to the country after the Civil War and weren't even here for any of it, no matter what color they were. So I'm so tired of this whole bullshit thing. But meanwhile, there is a legitimate slave problem that is going on currently.
Well, to make ourselves feel better, we're going to boycott this anime-style RPG. Genshin Impact fans want to boycott Eula because of her Lawrence backstory that family apparently owned slaves. This is coming from Dual Shockers. So here we go. If you've been following Genshin Impact news, you might be aware that the fact that the 1.5 update is slated to arrive this month. It will be adding 2 new characters, Eula and Yanfei, alongside a host of other things. The update isn't live yet, but fans are quite unhappy with Eula's backstory.
But a handful of people on Twitter are pissed.
Yep. Eula is a descendant of the Lawrence clan, which ruled over the city of Mondstadt when the aristocracy grew corrupt. Here's her official Genshin Impact lore, according to Honey Impact. Eula is a descendant of the Lawrence clan. The blood that flows through her veins once flowed through that of Mondstadt's oppressors during the darkest periods of the city's histories. So the Lawrence clan is hated, and consequently, Eula has been viewed with contempt. They're not throwing her parade. Contempt by the citizens of Mondstadt since birth. The Lawrence clan has a history of slavery in the game's lore, as it bought Vanessa's clan, who were slaves. Hasn't gone down well with the community, and they're unhappy with the involvement of slavery in the game, even though this is the backstory. They're not showing...
Some of the backstory was there before this character was developed, so they had no problem with it before the character came up. Yeah,
right? So the topic and term slavery is such a touchy subject in PC culture that we can't even have it in fiction. No,
you're not allowed to.
How much lower can we go? Do we start implanting things into our brains soon to prevent us from thinking about certain topics? It's coming, guys. It's coming. Why
don't we just erase it from history like we do everything else?
Are these the same people crying over lack of representation in a game created in China? Ooh. I hope I get her to show. I hope I get her just to show her off to the crybabies. Imagine thinking you're going to convince people of not rolling for this because it hurts your Fifi. Some NPCs hundreds of years before her were slavers of other NPCs.
Right, yeah, and it wasn't even her character anyway. I'm like, really?
My God. They're like termites. This is why some games are not released in the West. I hope they get the finger on this one. I think they're already used to it. I think the developer, from my understanding, they know full well that Twitter is going to have a shit fit. They don't care. They're making a ton of money. They don't care.
So if you don't like it, don't buy it. Don't play it. Whoopee. But other people want to play it. That's up to them. Because there's a lot of other characters and stuff in this game besides that one character.
Here, thank you. This person gets it. It's most likely not even black people. If it is, please stop fighting so hard for a video game. The real world still has actual
But you know what
issues.
makes me mad about here's another thing about the slavery, they keep saying black people. There were a lot of people that were brought over as slaves who weren't black as well. I mean, you never hear them talk about that. It's not just black people who were enslaved.
So, in this case, we're talking about a fictitious world, fictitious characters, and a fictitious race of people. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, It's like it's all pretend.
And a fictitious history of a race of people.
Right. So I'm legitimately waiting for all the calls to boycott Star Wars now because Anakin Skywalker slavery prequels, it's problematic. Droids are slaves. They had to have droid rights and all that. And there is an entire article.
Which most people rolled their eyes about when they had it in the movie.
Oh, yeah. There's an entire article about how John Boyega gets it and Star Wars is oppressive.
Again, I want to point out that you might not like the truth, but the truth of the matter is that it happened. It's happened for centuries. It happened in more places than just the United States. It happened to more groups of people than just black people. And it's currently still happening in the world. And if you want to be upset about slavery, I think at this point you need to be upset about that. I also want to point out that just because you're white, that you look white, doesn't mean that you didn't come from slaves. And just because you look black doesn't mean that you didn't come from slave owners. And just because you're white or black doesn't mean that you were here during the Civil War at all. So, I'm so tired of this. Because you're this, because you're that. It happened. It's still happening. Maybe we should focus our energy on stopping it from happening ever again.
History's icky. It makes me sad.
Well, I'm talking about the present. It's presently a problem. Why don't we put our energy to stopping it now?
Your game has bad people in it. Sounds problematic to me. That's what's going to happen. Eventually, we're not going to be able to have any kind of...
You can't have anything, but let's say you can. Which means no fun for anything. I mean, I'm not saying slavery is fun, but I'm just saying you're not allowed to have backstories. Because no matter what you do, someone's going to get pissed about it. They're out there looking for something to be mad about. They might even play the game. They'll just hear that their friend was playing it. Wait, you mentioned her backstory is slavery? I'm mad. You never played the game. I don't care. I'm still mad. I'm going to get Twitter mobs to go get it canceled.
Yeah, good luck with that. Makes a shit ton of money.
Cancel Twitter and be done with it.
That'll happen. I think that'll happen eventually. I think Twitter will blow itself up.
So they start charging.
Yeah. So there we go, guys. Another problem with this game. People are saying the Genshin fan base is turning into the Sonic fan base. Again, I always...
Just a small group of people. Just don't listen to them. Just go do what you want to do and just ignore them.
Count the money.
Right. I mean, you're talking about a fictional group of people, and it was her family years and years and years before she was born. So this character actually had nothing to do with it at all. Like now.
All right. We're going to wrap this one up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.